WIXQ, radical, renowned, real college radio.
I'm Little Teapot, short and stout.
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
No, Dad, like this. When I get all steamed up, then I shout, tip me over and pour me out.
This is WWE superstar Roman Reigns. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Visit fatherhood.gov, brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Intensity, integrity, and intelligence. These are the three I's that make a radio show so great. So why not tune into a show that has all three? Listen to What is Savage every Tuesday night from 7 to 10 p.m. with your hosts, Tiger Sprout and Andrew Frank. And it's only here on WIXQ 91.7 FM, The Ville. Oh, it's true. It's true. WIXQ is owned by Millersville University and operated by the students as an extracurricular activity. The opinions expressed on air are those of the DJs and do not reflect the views of WIXQ or its staff. Seize the airways with WIXQ 91.7 FM, The Ville. Radical, renowned, real college radio. And we are back on the air here on WIXQ 91.7 FM. You are listening to What is Savage. And we're going to go ahead and do our sports segment. What's wrong, Sleepyhead over there?
I'm just chilling.
You look really exhausted, like you don't want to be here.
Nah, I'm just chilling.
Like you look like Frank on any other show.
Nah, I'm just relaxing, dude.
Okay. You know what? I'm going to let you start. What do you have in sports?
Whale. So speaking of the song that's playing, oh, was I really loud?
A little bit.
I'm sorry, I was really close this time. Anyways, so speaking of the song that was playing, I caught there's some stuff that was happening on the NXT. I mean, I guess you didn't really watch that, so I could just do it really fast.
Yep, didn't watch it.
All right. So, Buddy Murphy, who has been moved to SmackDown, took on the Velveteen Dream in a North American Championship match, because Velveteen Dream kind of called him out on Twitter after WrestleMania, saying, "Yo, what happened to your title, blah, blah, blah," and then Buddy Murphy said, "Well, I'll come take yours." I actually put on, like, a really good match, but Velveteen Dream retained. Then you had Shayna Baszler take on Kairi Sane, and she... Baszler, and if Kairi Sane lost, she would never get a chance at the NXT Women's title again, because she's on SmackDown, so she lost, due to Io Shirai kind of coming in and doing that. And then the Undisputed Era came in and interrupted Johnny Gargano's championship celebration. So then Roderick Strong and Johnny Gargano wrestled in next week's main event, and Johnny Gargano ended up winning because Roderick Strong got super kicked by Adam Cole by accident. So that's what happened on NXT that was of note. Pretty much other than that, I really just got draft stuff, which I know you can do as well.
Yeah, as I try not to cough in the mic. Main thing I got is Josh Rosen being traded for a couple picks.
Yeah, to the Dolphins, right?
Yep, to the Miami Dolphins, traded away from the Arizona Cardinals because the Arizona Cardinals went ahead and drafted Kyler Murray of Oklahoma, #1 overall in the draft. I also have here, because, you know, I am a quarterback guru, I have the list of quarterbacks that were taken in this year's draft. So I will go through these quick. Kyler Murray taken with the #1 overall pick in the first round. Daniel Jones taken with the #6 overall pick in the first round to the New York Giants, which I think is a phenomenal pick. unlike other people, don't think that. Dwayne Haskins taken with the 15th pick in the first round. He is going to the Washington Redskins. In the second round, we only had one pick for a quarterback, and that was the 10th overall pick in the second round. Drew Lock out of Missouri. He went to the Denver Broncos. The big one of the night, the steal of the night. I'm telling you now, the third round, 36th pick overall, the Carolina Panthers drafting Will Grier of West Virginia University.
So, I mean...
North Carolina product. Oh, man, he's going to light that field up with Cam Newton. Goes on down.
They don't need him.
I hope they bench Cam Newton for Will Grier. So, in the fourth round...
2015 MVP. They're not going to bench him?
Because Will Grier is going to be the MVP this year.
No, he's not.
He's going to be the rookie of the year.
Yeah, it's a funny way of saying Kyler Murray.
Okay, so speaking of those that are under Will Grier, in the fourth round, we had the second overall pick. The Cincinnati Bengals went ahead and drafted Ryan Finley. Also in the fourth round, the 31st overall pick, Jarrett Stidham. I am going to go with that. From Auburn, he has been drafted by the New England Patriots. In the fifth round, we had the 28th and 29th overall picks for quarterbacks. It was Easton Stick to the LA Chargers and Clayton Thorson to the Philadelphia Eagles, respectively. In the sixth round, we had the fifth overall pick, Gardner Minshew from Washington State. He went to the Jacksonville Jaguars. And finally, I was really getting worried about this one, but it worked out.
I know it was coming.
The sixth round, 24th pick to the Baltimore Ravens, Trace McSorley out of Penn State.
Poor Lamar Jackson.
So, I would not be surprised if Trace McSorley plays a game or two this year, based on inconsistency from Lamar Jackson. Because I know all about the inconsistency when I traded for Lamar Jackson in my Madden League to help my New York Giants. So, let's see.
Couldn't get you anywhere, bud.
Yeah, it didn't. You got anything else on the draft?
Yeah, I mean, besides, I kind of was... I just kind of thought it was obvious that Nick Bosa went to the Niners. If he didn't, he went the next pick after Murray, which made sense, even though everybody thought he would go number one, but they really wanted a new quarterback, so there you go.
That's all you got for the draft?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, nothing else. I mean, the first round's like, you can go through all of it and talk about each player, but it's just meh.
All right.
Well.
All right, Ava. Let's see. Sorry, I was trying to text and speak. So I also got here the 2019 Stanley Cup playoffs, and we are already in the second round. What's wrong with you? Is it because of the Washington Capitals couldn't get the job done?
Because they can't play in OT for some dumb reason?
Yep. So let's go ahead. Do you know these teams?
Who advanced?
Yep. Well, that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and read all of them.
No, I do know them
Ava can
all.
stop screaming in the background.
I know them all, I'm pretty sure.
Are you done over there? All right, she's sticking her tongue out. So, okay. I'm going to read through these teams in the second round. I'm going to see where they are. I want you to go ahead and give me your updated Stanley Cup Finals picks. Eastern and Western, all right?
Okay.
Okay. So, in the second round, the Eastern Conference, we have the Boston Bruins and the Columbus Blue Jackets. The Boston Bruins and the Blue Jackets are actually tied in the series 1-1. The next game is actually tonight, which is happening right now, and it is in Columbus, of all places. So Game 3 is happening right now. Also in the Eastern Conference, we have the New York Islanders taking on the Carolina Hurricanes, who spanked those Washington Capitals. That series is actually in favor of the Carolina Hurricanes as they lead the series 2-0. And they will be heading to Carolina, actually, Wednesday at 7.
Hey, they're undefeated in Carolina this playoffs.
And that's a strike for Ava as well. So, in the Western Conference, we have the St. Louis Blues and the Dallas Stars. The Blues are leading the series 2-1, and next game will be happening tomorrow at 9:30, and that will be taking place in Dallas. And finally, for the Western Conference games, we have the San Jose Sharks taking on the Colorado Avalanche. And that series is tied 1-1. The next game will be Game 3 happening tonight at 10 p.m. And that will be taking place in Colorado. So, again, the Eastern Conference, Sean, you got Boston, Columbus, New York, and Carolina. And then the Western Conference, you have St. Louis, Dallas, San Jose, and Colorado. For some reason, I felt like I said St. Louis twice. when I was speaking earlier, but I'm gonna assume that I did not. So, who you got?
I'd probably say you look at the Hurricanes versus the Blue Jackets, and then
Okay.
you'd have the Blues versus the Avalanche.
Okay. I'm actually gonna go with Columbus as well. I think that's gonna go all the way to Game 7. That's a really, really good series.
I just
Both
think-
games went into overtimes.
I think Bobrovsky's better than Rask.
I think that that Blue Jackets team is very underrated, especially being a wild card team this year. You know, I always say New York represent Brooklyn, but I'm going with Carolina represent. So Will Greer, North Carolina. Those Carolina Hurricanes are definitely going on to face those Columbus Blue Jackets in the Eastern Conference Finals.
They're playing with fire.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
I
For the Stanley Cup?
no, that's just going on to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Oh, what you guys' predictions for the Stanley Cup? Like, who go?
Who is your Stanley Cup Finals?
Oh man, I mean, I
Well,
guess.
hold on.
I mean, finish your
Yeah, let me go through the West quick. In the West, I actually have. This is a tough one too. I want to say St. Louis, but I'm going to go with Dallas in this one. I think that's a toss-up, kind of like the Boston-Columbus one, but I don't think it's that much of a tight contestant one. But I'm going to go with Dallas, just for the sake of picking the opposite. And I'm actually going to go with San Jose because I think that's a strong playoff team itself.
It's their goalie.
I got to go with them. It's a strong team.
Their goalie is playing too inconsistent. Like, they could continue to win, but if they make it to the Cup, that's going to be not good.
Yeah. With the Western Conference Finals, though, I'm going with San Jose. I think San Jose is going back to the Stanley Cup Finals. And the Eastern Conference, Carolina. I think that's a hot Eastern Conference team this year. So I think it's going to be Carolina and San Jose this year. And I'm going to go with, until they change my mind, Carolina.
San Jose.
I'm going with Carolina. I think the Carolina Hurricanes are going to be the Stanley Cup champions this year.
I'm going to say Carolina versus Colorado, and I think the Avalanche are going to take it.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, then. So you got Colorado win it this year, and I have Carolina win it this year. The last thing that I have for sports before I go on to announce that we have a song request coming in, the 2019 NBA playoffs. So going on in the Western Conference. Yes, what were you going to say? Are you okay now? Okay. In the Western Conference Finals, we have the Golden State Warriors leading the Houston Rockets 1-0, and Game 2 will actually be taking place tonight at 10:30 in Golden State. Also in the Western Conference is... Frank, what are you doing? Okay,
He's
so
slumped.
in the Western Conference also, we have the Denver Nuggets leading the Portland Trail Blazers 1-0 in that series. Next game will be Wednesday, taking place in Denver. Also in the Eastern Conference, we have the Milwaukee Bucks trailing the Boston Celtics 1-0. Next game will be taking place tonight. Actually, it's happening right now, 8 o'clock. And that game will be taking place in Milwaukee. And finally, in the Eastern Conference, we have the Toronto Raptors tied 1-1 with the Philadelphia 76ers. Next game will be taking place Thursday, and that will be coming back to Philadelphia. So, real quick, Eastern Conference, I have Philadelphia advancing on. And I also have, man,
Gotta go with the Bucks. You gotta.
I got to go with the Bucks.
Yeah.
I think the Celtics, when it gets to playoffs time, the Celtics are
That's
a strong
true.
team. But I think just kind of like that Boston-Columbus one, I think that's going to be a toss-up.
I'd rather see the Celtics move on because I personally think the Sixers have a better chance of beating the Celtics.
It all depends on Giannis, of all things.
Yeah.
Giannis Antetokounmpo, it all depends on him. I learned how to say his name properly this year.
Did you?
So that's a highlight.
You'll
Giannis
listen.
Antetokounmpo. I actually found a YouTube video from one of the NBA games, and it was kind of like one of those side ones that said how to say Giannis's name, and Giannis got on the video and he was like, this is how you say my name. Giannis Antetokounmpo. And then he said it in full motion. He was like, Giannis Antetokounmpo. So
So can we just call him the Greek Freak still?
I am not. I'm going to give him the proper respect as the future NBA MVP and call him by his name, Giannis Antetokounmpo. So I want to say the Celtics, but it all depends on Giannis. So if Giannis is going to have a strong showing, then it's going to be the Bucks.
The Bucks are dangerous.
I know, but because of him being he's the centerpiece of that team. So I'm going to go with the Bucks. I don't want to, but I'm going to go with the Bucks.
I don't want to.
In the Western Conference, I'm telling you, the Portland Trailblazers, despite them being down game 1, that is a tough team. Playoffs too, Trailblazers. But I'm going to go with the Denver Nuggets. I think they have a strong core put together. So I'm going with the Nuggets in that one, but I wouldn't be surprised if Portland pulls through. And this one, I'm going to surprise you.
Are you going to say the Rockets?
I'm going with the Rockets.
There's no way.
I'm going with the Rockets.
Harden's going to disappear mid-series.
So who do you got for divisionals before we go into the conference
We're
finals?
going to go Nuggets, Warriors. Or wait, no. Yeah, wait, no. And the Nuggets are playing who? The Trailblazers?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Trailblazers, Warriors. And then Sixers, Bucks.
Sixers, Bucks? All right.
Yeah.
Well, let's go ahead since we have the same thing with Sixers, Bucks. Ava said Sixers, so
they're going to the finals. I'm hoping.
I'm
sure.
going with the Sixers too.
Because if it's no matter who it is,
I think despite who it is, whether it's Milwaukee or Boston,
Embiid versus DeCupo.
Giannis Antetokounmpo. Say it with me. Giannis Antetokounmpo.
DeCupo.
Now say it all together. Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Greek Freak.
Okay.
Versus Embiid. And Embiid's always won that this year, so I would think that he could be able to do it in the playoffs. The Sixers are high scoring in the playoffs, and I think that's what they're going to take to beat the Bucks or Celtics, but I still think it's going to be the Bucks. So Sixers move on to the finals, I believe.
Yeah. I'm going with the Sixers as well, despite on who it is. Didn't want to cough in that mic. Yeah, I'm going with the Sixers too. In the Western Conference, who'd you say?
We differed. Actually, we differ completely. I went Warriors, Blazers.
You're going with Warriors, Blazers?
Yeah,
All right,
you
between
went
those two, who are you going with?
Warriors.
Warriors? All right.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with, between Houston and Denver, I'm going with Houston. However, if it's Houston and Portland, I'm going with Portland. So, because I did say it was a toss-up for me between Portland and Denver. And Ava is going with Portland, no matter what. So,
Apparently.
Portland? Right? Portland? Yes? Yes? Portland? She said yeah. So, okay. I'll make sure I let them know that. So, she said Portland and the Sixers, and she's going with the Sixers to take it all. So, she's getting excited about that one. So, I am going with the Sixers, and I'm going to stick with my consistency of the Rockets, but I'm going with the Sixers to take it all. Unless it's Portland, that's going to be a tight one, but I'm still going with the Sixers.
I'm going to take the Sixers over the Warriors.
Okay.
Because if the Warriors make it, I just feel like the Sixers, they've beaten them like every time they've seen each other. So.
All right. Well,
Clean sweep.
that was it for sports. But we do have a song request coming in. What are you doing? Beat him up.
Hey, this is a special moment with us. So
Okay. So we actually have a song request that came in, and it was from Avery Ludman, my niece. And she didn't say it, but Frank has 2 strikes. So I felt it vicariously come through me to give Frank 2 strikes. So go ahead and add 2 strikes onto the board for Frank. And she wanted to request the song Me by Taylor Swift. So Frank said, ooh, so I guess it has to be a good song. I've never heard it myself, so I can't say. But we're about to find out. But yes, Avery Ludman wanted to request Me, Taylor Swift. I'm sorry we had to keep you waiting on this, Avery. I know it's getting close to your bedtime. It's getting close to all of our bedtimes here at WIXQ 91.7 FM. No one asked for your opinion, Frank. So let's go ahead and play that song.
Señor Direction.
And that's right, ladies and gentlemen. We are back here on the air, here on WIXQ 91.7 FM. You are listening to What is Savage. It is time for... That's a strike.
Me?
Yep.
For what?
Taking your good old time to squeak back into that spot. So... Ava's at least being courteous, putting her whole fist in her mouth and speaking at the same time, not yelling. What? So... That's pushing my buttons over there. All right, so we're going to go ahead do the movies that are coming out this week at the theaters. So, Frank, go ahead and list our movies.
All right.
Better yet, before you do that, go ahead, Sean, list what's going on that strike board.
Alright, so in order from top to bottom, we got Big Daddy Tiger the 1, Slot Queen Frank with, what? Oh, 8. Gamer Chris still got nothing. Radio Killer Sean, since my name got changed. Is it 7?
Know your place.
Mystery Woman still at 1, and Ava's at 4.
All right, then. So, go ahead, Frank. Get us going with what's going on at the movies.
All right, so we got 3 movies for you guys. The first one's called The Intruder, and when a young married couple buys their dream house in the Napa Valley, they think they have found the perfect home to take their next steps as a family. But when the strangely attached seller continues to inflate their lives, they begin to suspect that he has hidden motivations beyond a quick sale. Ooh. The next movie is called Long Shot. Fred Flarsky is a gifted and free-spirited journalist with an affinity for trouble. Charlotte Field is one of the most influential women in the world. Smart, sophisticated, and accomplished, she's a powerhouse diplomat with a talent for, well, mostly everything. The two have nothing in common except she was his babysitter and childhood crush. When Fred unexpectedly reconnects with Charlotte, he charms her with his self-depreciating humor and his memories of her youthful idealism. As she prepares to make a run for the presidency, Charlotte impulsively hires Fred as her speechwriter, much to the dismay of her trusted advisors. A fish out of water on Charlotte's elite team, Fred is unprepared for her glamorous lifestyle in the limelight. However, sparks fly as her unmistakable chemistry leads to a round-the-world romance and a series of unexpected and dangerous incidents. Interesting. The last one is called Ugly Dolls. In the adorably different town of
Give him 5 strikes for yelling into the microphone and slapping onto the microphone. You probably got a lot of people going deaf right now, so go ahead, add on 5 strikes.
I'm sorry, this was not funny. In the adorably different town of Uglyville, weird is celebrated, strange is special, and beauty is embraced as more than simply meets the eye. Here, the free-spirited Moxie and her ugly doll friends live every day in a whirlwind of bliss, letting their freak flags fly in a celebration of life and its endless possibilities. In this all-new story, the Ugly Dolls will go on a journey beyond the comfortable borders of Uglyville. There, they will confront what it means to be different, struggle with their desire to be loved, and ultimately discover that you don't have to be perfect to be amazing, because who you truly are is what matters most. And that's it.
Alright, so what I've taken away from all this is you have the most milquetoast voice in the world.
Well, thank you. I'll take that as a compliment.
Why did you refer to it that way?
Dragging on.
I got you.
So, you know what? Since we have Cinema Boy over here, Chris, would you go see any of those movies?
Not really.
Okay then.
I wouldn't see them either.
You wouldn't? I know you wouldn't. Sean?
Maybe Long Shot. But that's about
Okay, well, we are definitely not on the same
Well-
page. I was thinking of Ugly Dolls.
it. That one sounded even worse.
Well, the one movie I want to see is the movie we mentioned last week.
Oh, like a movie too.
No, that's next week.
Before we continue on,
See, Ava agrees with me.
Maybe
Ava beat me
wants see
to it.
one of the movies.
So I'm supposed to give a shout out for my nephew Chase, who's listening to us right now. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Hi.
cat. So speak Chase language. Cat. Yeah. So yeah. Let's see.
The phone's still there, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget.
Yes, don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, you can. Let me finish the phone number first before you start screaming back there. So you can call us at 717-871-7075, and you can give Frank a strike. We are accepting strikes like a donation right now. So again, 717-871-7075. Donate your strikes to a good cause as we put it up on the strike board to get Frank the new record in the studio. And you can also request any song that you want to as well. You can call us again at 717-871-7075 if you would like to request a song. So that was it for the movies, but coming up in about 45 minutes, 9:30, you will definitely not want to miss this. We are going to do our top 10. And you know what? I feel like 30 minutes is not going to be enough for us. So you know what? After the 9:20 commercials, we're going to do our top 10. So we bumped it up this week for the last show. It's the last show. God, you know what? Give him another strike. The coughing. So,
Hey,
Making us sick.
I'm trying to die.
all right, I'm gonna mute everyone's mic right now. So, you know what? Give him a strike for arguing. So, we're gonna go ahead, play some music. After the 9:20 commercials, we are gonna do our top 10 movies of all time between the four of us, between Chris, Sean, myself, and Frank and Beans over here. You will definitely not want to miss these top 10 movies of all time. So stay with us here on WIXQ 91.7 FM. You will listen to What a Savage.
Now it's time to get this party cracking. It's time to let them know what's happening. It's about time I stepped into the gangster lane. No cheap talk and I get what I want. Now it's